Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Andrea Giraldo. Welcome to Meetings of the Minds, brought to you by the New York City Hispanic Chamber of Commerce in partnership with BronxNet. This show was created in direct response to the COVID-19 pandemic as a way to highlight the work of our members and partners, as well as to understand the resources they have to help our community in those difficult times. Today's discussion will focus on affordable co-op developments in New York City. The conversation will be led by Real Estate Chair for the New York City Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, Greg Tsougranis. Greg, take it away.
Hello, this year is Gregory Tsougranis. I am the Real Estate Chair for the New York City Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. As always, I want to thank Nick Lugo, I want to thank Cindy and all the board members of this great chamber for the opportunity in order to bring real estate issues to light. Today we have two special guests, and the topic is going to be affordable housing co-ops, the development of affordable housing co-ops here in our borough and in our city. We have two individuals who are leaders in that capacity. Anivelca Cordova, all right, she's actually from the Bronx, actually from DR originally, moved to the Bronx as a young woman, and now she's actually building the block, not just living on it. So I'm very honored to have you here on our show today. The name of the company that she's a principal in is Lemle Wolff, one of the major developers here in our city. And again, we have a Latino who is
Thank you.
making waves and making housing affordable. We also have Dan Peleg, who is the banker from Citibank, who has been doing a lot of the financing in this development. He's one of the three banking firms or three banks that basically finance in this development. So the first thing I want to say is, or I'm going to repeat myself, I'm very excited about this opportunity because I've used these very strong language in the past about a renter society. I don't want us to be a renter society, and our elected officials and developers and bankers are doing something so that people actually have equity and home ownership. And I love this program, which is why when you called me, I was like, we got to do this. I'll do anything you want. Let's put, thank you for bringing me on as a broker. All right, so basically, tell me, you're on the cutting edge. Tell me something about this development so that we get started, and also about yourself.
Sure. My name is Anivelca Cordova, as you mentioned. I'm a principal with Lemle Wolff, and we've been around for a really long time as a company. Since the 80s, actually, and actually I'm very proud to be to represent the next generation of leaders here at Lemle, since the company has been around for so long. But now there's new faces and new opportunities. And so over the past 14 years, since I've been at Lemle, I've had the opportunity to step up and work on a lot of different projects, both on the rental side as well as the home ownership side now, which is very exciting because home ownership really propelled my family into having more opportunities. As immigrants, you always think about the American dream, and of course to be able to have the opportunity and be a homeowner, and actually became a homeowner in this community first. So it's actually, my life is full circle now. But just to give you a little bit more on Lemle, Lemle was established 85 years ago as an owner manager actually of real estate in the Inwood and Washington Heights section of Manhattan, and in the 80s and 90s really grew to reposition itself as an affordable housing developer, and really as a result of everything that was happening in the city of New York at the time, with all of the buildings that were in crisis. The city asked a lot of developers to step up to be responsible landlords, and really help reposition projects. And so that is how Lemle grew to be an affordable housing manager, developer, and contractor as well. Since then we've developed over 4,000 apartments, different projects, a lot focused on rental developments, but again now have a really strong pipeline of affordable home ownership, which we're very excited about.
So a lot of people might talk the talk, but you're walking the walk, as
That's
they say, right?
That's right.
Now, we also have Citibank. Dan is one of the primary lenders, one of the three. And we're going to talk a lot about the financing of it, but I do want to give you a second to introduce yourself.
Thank you very much for having me. My name is Dan Peleg. I've been a mortgage banker for Citibank for over 13 years, New York City native, and I pride myself on providing excellent customer service for first-time home buyers, navigating them from the beginning all the way to the end of the home buying journey and beyond. I do a great job managing expectations and advising the buyers of their best financing options and all of the resources that are available to them, whether it comes to closing cost incentives and special down payment assistance programs. And I get a real sense of fulfillment seeing buyers purchasing a home.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, so we actually did a little video on the development because a picture is 1,000 words, so I'm going to ask the BronxNet crew in order to load up the video so we can see the first minute and a half. Yes, they're going to show the video now.
Hello, this is Julia and Gregory at Team Tsougranis Keller Williams Realty. Welcome to our newest exclusive in the Soundview section of the Bronx.
New York City is taking dynamic steps to turn renters into owners, and we're proud to represent 10 affordable co-op units being sold outside of the lottery system to turn renters into co-op owners with additional incentives, low maintenance, and quality housing. So come on inside and get ready to fall in love. Welcome to a model one-bedroom unit. You walk into a large living room space, double closet door, and large windows letting all that sunlight in.
Enjoy energy-efficient individual heating and cooling units. Here, you're in control. This kitchen is ready for your favorite recipes. You have a 5-burner stove, stainless steel appliances, and lots of counter space.
You have a spacious bedroom as well, equipped with all the latest needs. A second thermostat and cable and electric outlets available at will. Come take a look at this beautiful brand new bathroom. It speaks for itself. All right, so I think everyone would agree that you built a beautiful product, and we're going to showcase it here today, and we're going to highlight it as much as we can because we need housing. What are some of the things that you think are special about this development?
Sure. Well, this project is a third phase of a larger redevelopment plan that was started actually as Lemle and Wolff and Partners responding to a RFP in 2007. And the 3 phases involved a 120-unit family building, an 86-unit senior housing building, which was the second phase and has been completed, and now the third phase, which is affordable homeownership. And what's exciting about that is that it's a multi-generational development with these 3 phases, and they are integrated and will be, sharing resources and hopefully become the vibrant community that was envisioned when the RFP was issued.
I love the fact that you're incorporating seniors in this as well, because our seniors need not just food and a bed to sleep in, but they also need little kids to run around and just to love and to share each other's experience. Because I know I have a child, I have a mother, and that's something that's very important for our society. And it's a very smart building. Now you can see you have a lot of beautiful features, stainless steel appliances. You have large rooms. There's a lot to harp on here. Is there any? You also mentioned that's a green community. What exactly is a green community?
So the development is certified by the Green Communities Program, which is a program that is sponsored by Enterprise, and it is a standard of green building that affordable housing is required to meet, and this development has met and exceeded those goals under the Green Communities program.
Okay, you have energy efficient appliances. It's pet friendly also.
That's
right?
correct.
So a lot of times you try to, like one of the reasons why you want to own also is because you want to be able to bring your pets.
That's right.
Landlord's telling you can't bring your cat, can't bring, and they have reason. They have a right to do that, but just note that it's a pet friendly establishment also.
Right.
ADA accessible.
That's correct.
So you're doing everything and beyond in order to make sure that our that our community that needs the extra access has what they need in order to
Right.
live properly and with dignity. It's smoke free, so you decided to basically make it a smoke free environment also.
That is correct. We think that that's the best practice, but the building has a fully it's fully fire alarmed and sprinkled as well. But this is a really great prevention tool to keep everyone safe.
Okay, good. All right. So why don't we bring up the? Well, we have some photos of the apartments, so you can see the beautiful buildings they built. But let's talk some numbers here also. Oh, and I do want to say that the whole development only has 10 units that are now open to the public through a broker versus the lottery system. So could just kind of fill us
Sure.
in on that, because they passed a law
Definitely.
recently, I believe, about that.
Right. So the project did go through the HPD's lottery process, and there was a very large response of about 10,000 applicants who expressed interest in becoming homeowners. However, for different reasons, we exhausted the lottery, and it just meant that some of the folks that expressed interest were not ready for homeownership. And I think this is part of why these kinds of conversations are super important, to prepare our community for more of these opportunities and to be ready when these opportunities come up. So now because we were not able to finish selling all of the apartments through the lottery process, HPD has allowed the project to go open market, and that is why we're offering the remaining units through the broker community, and obviously spreading the word throughout the Bronx, the local community members, Community Board 9, wherever the communities that are close to the Soundview area, we are pushing and marketing.
Okay, so now we've got Dan here, all right, and that's where the financing comes in, because in order to own something, you need to finance it.
Yes.
All right, so we do have the chart up that basically talks about the various issues related to housing, and you can see there's 3 2-bedrooms. The maintenance is 613, and we have 7 1-bedrooms. Maintenance 468, and that basically includes now. One of the things about affordable housing is that you have a tax abatement for 40 years. So if a purchase is for 40 years, part of the reason why you do the development, or it's called affordable housing, is because there's no tax consequence to the individual for 40 years. All right, so Dan, tell us about the financing. We do have the chart up, but what does someone need in order to qualify so that they could actually become a homeowner?
Certainly. So to purchase in Soundview, you should be a first-time home buyer. And the prospective purchaser should also have a minimum of 5% down payment, along with a credit score, a minimum credit score of a 660. And with that, we do gather income and asset documentation and pre-qualify the purchasers as they go and view these units. And then we also provide closing cost assistance as well.
Okay, so the first criteria really is the income, and the way that the affordable housing ownership works is that they have a chart based on AMI, all right? And you can see here, if you have a 1-bedroom, it also depends on the unit size also. So for example, if it's one person, you want a 1-bedroom, you should be making between $61,000 and $94,000 a year. So that's part of the criteria, and you really have the chart there. So the first thing you need to figure out, if you say, look, I love these apartments, I want to be able to see if I could get financing, you have to basically look to see if you fit inside that range, okay? And it varies based on the AMI and also about the occupancy of the unit, All right, so basically the standard price for the 2-bedroom is $235,800, and for the 1-bedrooms they range from $183,700 up to I see a $203 as a max number.
Right.
Okay, and then keep in mind you basically there's no tax abatement for 40 years, so that's a savings that you're having. The utilities are on you, but you're also in control because they have their individual heating units in each of the units. Now, Dan, your program is called, or Citibank has the Home Run program. All right, now one of the other benefits is that I see here there's no PMI, there's no premium mortgage insurance. Is that correct?
That is correct, yeah.
Okay, and usually if you put down 20%, you avoid PMI, but that's one of the benefits also. Is you'll be saving a few $100s a month on a loan, because usually you could explain it better if you want, but.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Home Run program that we have is a proprietary program that Citi offers. It's an exclusive program that we have that's designed for first-time home buyers, those that would like to put less than 20% down and not have to incur the expensive PMI. The purpose is to create affordable home ownership, and this is how we give back to the communities that we serve. And so there is no PMI involved, and we have flexible guidelines with respect to the Home Run program, where we allow a minimum of a 660 credit score. Now, for those that don't have like a traditional credit score or credit score at all for that matter, we do have alternative ways of verifying and establishing credit, like rent or payment history of utilities such as cable, electric, gas. So this is the way that we establish non-traditional credit.
Yeah, I see here that you advertise non-traditional credit features, and this is something else where if you don't have the credit score needed, and I'm going to mention, there are, basically NACA came out with that as a way, and basically you also are taking advantage of the non-traditional credit scores by, if you basically make a certain amount of, if you pay a certain amount of rent and you have certain expenses, right, that's what they would say, well, you qualify because you're already paying $1,500, $2,000 a month, therefore you could pay that to the bank, therefore we feel confident that we'll give it to you based on the non-traditional lending method. Is that correct?
The non-traditional lending method is really a way for us to establish someone's creditworthiness, right? So if someone doesn't have a traditional credit score or typical like a credit usage, then they may not have a score, right? So they might have a 0 as a score, nothing comes up. So in those instances, we can establish a non-traditional payment history by verifying timely payments.
Now, something else is that just because you're a homeowner, you also have to be able to understand home ownership. And part of, I want to talk about the grant also, because $7,500 is a lot of money. How do you get it? Do you get the full amount?
It's a good one.
But I also do want you to bring in whoever, either of the two wants to talk about the home buyer education. So why don't you say, is it a fixed $7,500 for everybody that's basically comes off the top, or is it based on some other criteria?
It's a flat $7,500, so it's not an up to. It's not one of those. You get the full $7,500, and that's applicable towards the purchaser's closing costs.
Okay,
yeah.
So basically, all these prices I mentioned, you could take off $7,500, $7,500, but you have to be inside that income range, I assume, right? That's what we're talking about?
Absolutely, yeah. You have to be within the 120% of the AMI.
Okay, does anyone talk about exactly what AMI is and how it's calculated? Is that something you guys want to tackle?
I'll try. AMI represents the area median income, which is a range of income that is calculated and issued by HUD. They do a survey of the city of New York, of everybody who's working in the city of New York, to calculate what is the area median income by neighborhood, and based on the household size as well. So they break it up in general, a maximum amount of what is the area median income for the city of New York, and by neighborhood, and also depending on the household size. So this is just public information that's issued, and affordable housing developments and projects use this data to be able to size rents, and also, in our case, for homeownership, to size the right price point to target and make sure it's affordable for a family earning up to 90% of the area medium income, which is the target for Soundview. Soundview's target, we have 2 price points, which is 80% of the area medium income. That's the lower band. And then it goes up to 90% as the upper band. It was to be able to capture buyers that were at that lower price point, as well as, you know, a slightly higher middle income price point of 90% AMI.
Okay, so time flies. We've got
Yes.
about 5 minutes left.
Sure.
I do want to say, tell us about this home buyers education course. Like, there's a long list that you gave me, maybe 15 not-for-profits. Just as long as you start the process, then there's a course you take. I assume there's no fee for the course. Is that correct, or is it something based on the individual
Some
not-for-profits?
nonprofits do charge, but it's a minimal fee. We have several nonprofit partners that we've worked with, that we showed in the list, that are offering these home buyer education courses. And usually, once you've identified that, or you've expressed that you want to buy here at Soundview, there are some sessions where we introduce all the buyers to the lenders, including Dan's team, and we let them know these are the steps to home ownership. Almost all of the banks that we work with require the first-time home buyer education courses, and that is completed in order to move forward. You could talk a little bit more about that.
Well, is there anything else you want to say about that?
I just wanted to add that the home buyer education course, it shouldn't be viewed as just one of those, you know, I need it just because I want to purchase this
Right.
this unit or get the grant, but it's a really informative course, and so I encourage, you know, it's available to first-time home buyers and also second-time buyers as well. But it's very informative, very useful and helpful for those that are purchasing properties.
Okay, so now there's also an asset limit test, and I want to ask the question: what if I have all cash, and I want to pay cash? Can I pay all cash, or do I need to go through a financing arm?
But at Soundview specifically?
Yes.
Soundview, if someone was purchasing cash, it's not something that I would be a part of, because
Okay.
I handle the financing aspect
But
of
I'm
things.
just saying, is it something that they can do?
I mean, I think that they can if they had the cash available, but the majority of our buyers are not in that position of purchasing all cash, and so again, we have all the tools here to help them and prepare them for the home buyer process, including making sure that they have up to 5% down payment, which is the requirement here. And you know, again, our hope is that our buyers are not depleting all of their assets in order to purchase here, because there are so many opportunities and so many grants, and we want them to be set up for success long term. They have to now be homeowners and be able to improve their units and cover any
Well,
issues in
yeah,
their units.
I think the purpose of cash
Yeah.
is you could buy with cash, but they also don't want to make sure that cash investors are coming in to buy the property, and that's really
Correct.
where I was trying to get to. So,
Right.
right. So the point is, but there is an asset limit, though.
Yes, there is an
You
asset limit.
you can't be worth $1 million or $2 million or
Correct.
$100 million, because the point is that we want people who don't own a home,
Right.
who are renters, in order to become owners.
Yes.
All right, so we got
That's
2 minutes left. I can't believe how much time flies. Okay, you know, so I want you to I want you to tell me who is making this happen. Who are the elected officials? Who are the agencies
Sure.
that are making this happen so that people can get their home and have some equity?
Sure. Well, in this for the Soundview project, this project was the RFP that I mentioned was issued by NYCHA, and so this is formerly NYCHA land, and the RFP was also supported by HPD and the City of New York at large. But in terms of local elected officials who have been instrumental to the success of this project, we're talking about the borough president, Vanessa Gibson, as well as Amanda Farias, who is the local council member that has been supporting. And prior to these elected officials being in office, because the project has been around for so long, I have to give a shout out to Ruben Diaz, who supported the project from inception and was the borough president when
Okay.
when the first two phases were
Okay, we got 45
closed.
seconds, all right? So I think we're going to go to the final clip where we
Yes.
give some information.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Be proud to call home. Come on inside and take a look. As you enter, you have a large living room space. You do have an intercom so you can communicate with the front door. You have an alcove on the left side in this unit. Large windows letting all that sunlight in, allowing you to see the beautiful park. And with the 2 bedrooms, you also have 3 split systems and 3 distinct thermostats, so you're in control.
Not only you can roll out your favorite recipes in this kitchen, but you can also do a lot of baking. This kitchen is equipped with stainless steel appliances, including a dishwasher to clean up the mess and a lot of counter space.
The bedrooms are spacious, double-door closets, plenty of space. You also have large windows allowing all that sunlight in and beautiful views of trees looking out. One other feature is ample electric and cable sockets as needed. These beautiful bathrooms speak for themselves. Take a look. Thank you for joining us on our tour today. We'll be leaving you from the rooftop, showing you a beautiful vista of Soundview Park.
Call Team Tsougranis today and reserve your private tour.
This opportunity will not last.
For more information on the New York City Housing Connect application, please email Greg at teamtsougranis@gmail.com or call him at 845-304-5745 and 718-697-6800. To keep in with our guests, you may visit their websites and social media platforms. Unfortunately, that is all we have for today. I want to thank our guests for joining us in studio and you, our viewers, for tuning in and checking us out. Keep following BronxNet TV for continued coverage. And if you're not a member of the New York City Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, you can visit us at hispanicchamber.nyc. Once again, that is www.hispanicchamber.nyc. You can also engage with us on LinkedIn at New York City Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. And I'll see you next time for another episode of Meetings of the Minds in partnership with BronxNet. See you next time. Ciao, ciao.